Welcome to another 3-day project, and today we have the volume series. So we have gaseous, nova, and buoyancy. So the goal here was to try and create some nebulas, but I ended up doing some volume clusters, randomized cluster, as you can see here. I did try to follow a tutorial on this, which was created by Kitsu. But the thing with this type of tutorial is that you really need to check out the date it was posted. So this specific tutorial was posted 4 years ago. And as you can see from his render, he has a nebula-like cloud, but I wasn't able to create this exactly because a lot of things change in Blender since 4 years. But yeah, so I did try to follow along his tutorial. A great tutorial. There's a lot of steps here that still work great, and I'm gonna have a link down in the description. But yeah, so let's take a look at the first project. And as you can see, this is the setup. We have a camera, a cube, and just a point light, nothing more. And I'm going to press on render. So I think in his tutorial, he was using Eevee, and I'm just not ready to get inside of Eevee yet. So I just work with cycle, and inside of the render setting in cycle, you do need to check out the volume, which is here. We have the step rate render, the viewport, and the max steps. So by default, I think the step and render are set to 1 or even more. And as you can see, this changed dramatically how the cloud is rendering. So the level of details is greatly reduced. When it comes to volume, if you want the light to travel through the volume, you do need to have a higher max step count. So in this case, I think 32 might be okay. Even 16, yeah, it works. If you go down to 2, you can see that the light kind of fade away as it goes through the volume. So in our case, 16 might do the trick, but we do need to play around with the step rate render. Usually I set this to 0.1, and it's going to take some more time to render out the cloud. But yeah, just have that in mind when using cycles with volume. So now let's get inside of the shader. So I did follow along his tutorial and recreated his setup. Of course, the output is different because the noise texture changed throughout the years in Blender. But yeah, just have that in mind. You won't have the same setup as he was showing. But we have texture coordinate mapping and gradient textures. And this just changed a cube to a sphere. And inside of that, we are subtracting some noise. So as you can see here, we have a noise gradient. And this will kind of subtract from the volume. So we can adjust the density of it. And if I zoom out, you can see how this looks like. And we have another noise down below that will add kind of more details in our volume. Next, we have a color ramp, which was made using the ramp generator, of course. And this is all fed inside of the principal volume color. And then below, we have a density with a multiplier to just increase the density of the cloud. So if you set this to 1, everything will be smooth, but at 1000, it will just be a lot more dense. The render time on these are just a little bit crazy, so I will have to wait about 25 minutes to, have this render. And the render settings that I have are set to 512. So yeah, that's the only downside of working with volumes, that you don't really see exactly what you are getting. You do need to wait a lot. But yeah, this is what we have. So yeah, that's the first project. Let's take a look at the second one. And here I tried to change some things around, but I really didn't like the outcome. As you can see, this is what I'm seeing while working with the shader, and it's not really helpful knowing exactly what the outcome will be. So it's pretty much a hit or miss in this case. and I could probably play around again with the volume. So yeah, 0.1, 32, maybe 16. We have the same setup, but I modified a couple of things. I have a mix shader here for some reason. Yeah, I might have forgotten to add something here, so I'm just gonna delete it. And as you can see here, I tried to fit everything inside of a noise texture to try and have another outcome, but didn't really work great. You know, the problem is that I can't really see what's happening exactly. But yeah, let's also take a look at the third project. I think this one was a little bit easier because we actually see exactly what we have. I took again the first setup that I had in the first project, and I just played around with the values of the two noises and of course the color ramp. So yeah, I do have to work a little bit more with volume to be able to, you know, figure out how to make these nebulas. But I did post my work on Facebook, so I'm going to show you a little bit the page. So I post every 9 days. I post kind of this collage of the 9 projects that I worked on the Blender 3D artist. And here I had a guy named Martin Codex who shared with me a screenshot of his setup on how to create this nebula. So this is what I was going for in the first place. And yeah, so he was kind enough to share with me his setup. So as you can see, there's 3 different noise fading inside of the vector of each other. This goes into color ramp and in principle volume. So I will have a couple of projects like that thanks to this setup, probably during the next week or so. But yeah, so this is what I was trying to create in the first time, and I ended up creating these type of clusters. But you know what, it is what it is, right? I'm trying to understand as I go along. This was kind of a hard video to make because I'm not sure how to explain you know, the volume system. It's hard to showcase exactly how everything is affecting the volume on itself when you can't actually see it. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.